Does your mind feel like that fucking photograph? Probably. My mind does. I am recollecting that I got to speak to an artist that I have followed for 5 or 7 years yesterday on a podcast for like 2 hours. Like, feeling really grateful about that. My mind feels like a total fucking squirrel after a very long day of lots of Zoom. If you spend a lot of time on Zoom, you know it could just drain you. But given that I have no idea where tonight is going, I thought I'd start with this. It's Friday night. I decided to skip town for a little bit and get away. And I think the idea of getting away is really important. So we're going to talk about that for a moment. But first, cheers to another week. Another week of work and winning and lessons. If you're not winning, win or learn. Okay, so here's something that's been on my mind. Uh, when I'm in like podcast mode, there's this like version of me that has been coming out that is like curious, but podcast gets kind of boring if you just ask questions. You kind of got to tell your story. So I'm like, okay, can I do a better job of telling my story? Part of what I was known for a long time ago was travel hacking. I used to teach people how to take credit cards and travel the world for free. It was a really fun way to make my life very different. I started when I was broke, and it was a big way for me to make like sort of, I wouldn't say a name for myself, but it certainly carved a unique niche. I was traveling like 2, 3, 4 times a month. Often flights were $10, $11.56 to be exact, because I just built up basically millions of points, and I learned how to do that, and then I taught that. And one thing I learned about that phase was like the value of going away. So here's something that is really fascinating about travel hacking. If you have, let's say, 500,000 points in an airline, 500,000 points in like a hotel chain, you can literally go anywhere for $11. So what I would do is I'd hack my way to a couple 100,000 points, and then I would go somewhere. I lived in Baltimore or like close to DC, whatever. I would jump on a plane and I would fly to Miami, just as an example. I'd fly to Miami on like a Friday at 6 o'clock. That would cost me $5.60 to get there. Then I'd go to the hotel that night. The hotel was free. And I would sit in the hotel, sit at the bar or whatever. Then I would venture out on Saturday. I'd go for a run in the morning. I'd, hit the hotel gym if they have one. I'd go get lunch, get coffee, I'd journal. I think I'd usually walk like the city as much as I could. Like I'd walk miles, just backpack, journal, let's go. Then that night I'd go get dinner, and then I'd do the same thing on Sunday until I flew back in the afternoon. So the whole trip would cost me like $200. I didn't have a lot, so $200 wasn't nothing, but it certainly wasn't what the trip looked like visibly. I think people thought that I was way further along in business than I was. I don't really care about that. It's just what they thought. What that did, though, is it opened up this idea of like getting away and why it has such importance. If you are in the same city, the same place, the same house, same routine, same driving pattern, you get stuck. I get stuck. So what I've learned over the last several years is that getting away descrambles the mind, so you don't feel like that. that is a weird. Like, I really like that painting, actually. I really like that painting. Uh, it is a reminder to me to get away. Now, here's 3 reasons that you need to get away, and these are my 3 reasons. So you can build your own if you don't believe me. But get away. Tell me where you're going. Tell me when you're going away. Then tell me it doesn't work. Number one, getting away breaks your routine. I love routine. I love discipline. I'm a big believer in that. But the point of discipline is breaking discipline. Anybody that tells you otherwise is fucking missing it. If you're really disciplined with your food, the best part of that discipline is obviously that you have health, you have wellness, you have these things. So then the like carrot to all that is you can break it. Cool. Point made. Second reason to get away, aside from breaking your routine, is that there are simply perspectives that you cannot access in the same place. Can't find it sometimes, and I have sought perspective in everything I do. In fact, I pay people for their perspective. People pay me for my perspective. That's a really fun part of my world, and you can't have the same perspective in a different place. It's impossible. Uh, just like you can't see the same thing visibly with your eyes from the same spot. You go to a different spot, you see it different. So I think that's really important. And then beyond that, number three, why we get away, is that experiences, the same experience in a different place changes the story of the experience. So if you go to, I don't know, you can go to a nice like cafe in another city. It could be the same exact kind of coffee that you order, same place, same brand. Fuck, it could be a Starbucks. I'm not a big Starbucks fan, but they have made buying it easy. But if you go to another place, that experience is different. Even if it's the exact same thing, it's totally different. I found out when I'd broken my wrist, that when you brush your teeth with your opposite hand, your non-dominant hand, for me, that's my left hand, it opens up a whole new neural pathway. Creativity is often on that side of the brain too. So it just kind of opened up a lot, right? And I learned this when I was going through. I was really creative during this period. I mean, I had to type with one hand, my left hand. I had to use the mouse with my left hand. I had to write. I learned how to write with my left hand. All of these things happened, and along the way, I was studying what was going on. And when you make a new neural pathway through a physical pathway, your mind expands. So if you have been taking the same way home for the last 5 years, try a new way home. You'd be surprised because it opens up new neural pathways. When you go somewhere else, you have the same experience, it opens up a new experience. And I think that in many ways, what you and I are chasing, what we're all chasing, is new experiences. Even though we say that we might feel safe in our bubble or we don't care, it's really good to open up these things. So I find that getting away offers me all three of these things at the same time. And I usually come back from them much more restored and connected and excited. And like I get to like dance and jab and play a little bit more while I'm away than I might at home. Nobody knows who I am. Nobody knows where I'm at. Nobody gives a shit about my story. No one knows if I'm successful, if I'm not. No one knows if I have money. No one knows if I have any kind of wit about me. I'm just a person. And I really appreciate that sometimes. Like I really appreciate that I can disconnect from anything I might even perceive about myself in this new place. So I'm here in Sedona. Sedona is just such a magical place. Been a long day. Been a very long week. It's Friday night. I'm looking forward to some sleep. Looking forward to some reconnections, groundings, journaling, some rest. I'm not very good at rest, but I'm looking forward to it. Uh, and uh, and I think that sometimes the only way I can get that is to get away, get out, get somewhere different, get out of bounds. Because in bounds feels like I'm still plugged in. When I'm at home, if I had nothing on the calendar at home, I would probably do the restful things, but I'd still be thinking work. I'd still be thinking clients. I'd still be thinking business. I'd still be thinking leads and growth metrics and P&Ls. I'd be thinking that because I'm plugged in. I'd still be thinking about like, what's coming on Monday? How do I prep? What can I do to get ahead? And like, I don't have the luxury of that here. I just don't. I'll hike. I'll wade in the pool. Wade? What is that how you say it? Wade? You wade in a pool? I'll wait in a pool? What is that word? I think it's wade. I'll wait. I don't think I'm gonna wade. I don't think I'm gonna do that. I'm just gonna sit next to the pool, whatever you call that. And this is why I need sleep like right away. Uh, but I can't wait. Can't wait to wait. Not gonna wait. Don't quote me on that. Okay, I'm going to bed. Maybe.